Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel, and here is my review of Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania, as I promised you all. This is a spoiler review, so if you have not seen the film, you might want to click away. Let's just start off by saying that I thought Quantumania was just good. Not great, but just good. There were a lot of elements in this movie that bogged it down for me, but I'll first get into what I enjoyed about the film before I get into what I believe prevented it from being greater. First of all, my favorite thing about this movie is Kang, played by Jonathan Majors. He gave a fantastic performance as the Conqueror in this film, and he perfectly captured Kang's intelligence, superiority, and cunning nature from the comics perfectly. What I do appreciate what the MCU did with Kang is that they did not make him some benevolent dictator like how the Russo brothers butchered Thanos in the last two Avengers films. They actually made him a power-hungry, single-minded conqueror like how Kang is supposed to be. I cannot wait to see more of Majors as Kang in Avengers Kang Dynasty. Another favorite positive of mine were the visuals. The digital effects in this film were spectacular, and you can definitely tell that the VFX crew put a lot of effort into making the film look as visually appealing as possible. The quantum realm in this film is one of the most imaginative worlds I have ever seen put on film, and the design for all the living creatures and beings inhabiting it were very creative and fantastic. The action scenes in this film especially were very well shot and edited together. The cast all do a great job with what they have. Paul Rudd, Michael Douglas, Michelle Pfeiffer, and Evangeline Lilly are still all great as always, although I do wish they brought back the original actors who played Cassie Lang in Avengers Endgame, but I still do believe that the actress they got to replace her did a fine job. Now, where did this movie fall apart? Well, what I absolutely hated was how they butchered MODOK, and how they made his character the complete opposite of how he was in the comics. The film also turned MODOK into a complete joke, and I never took him seriously at all. Because if the film would not take him seriously, then why should I? In the comics, MODOK was created by AIM, not Kang, and his alternate identity wasn't Darren Cross, it was George Tarleton. And I shit you not, I can't believe there was a small bit in this film where he magically goes from being a villain who wants revenge on Scott to being a good guy again with the flick of a switch, all because Cassie Lang gave him a 20-second pep talk about why he shouldn't be an asshole. The scene literally went like this. Hey, you should stop being an asshole. Yeah, you're right, I should stop being an asshole. So I'm going to betray my master and save the guy I was just trying to kill not 30 minutes ago. Like, really? This was the best sudden change of heart you could do. I also want to address the title of the film a bit. Even though it is titled Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania, the film doesn't have the Wasp play a big enough role to justify putting her in the title. They should have just retitled it Ant-Man and Cassie Quantumania. I was disappointed that Bill Murray didn't have a big enough role in this film, as I believe he was very underused in this film, and the trailers made it seem like he was going to have a bigger role. He just gets involved in one action scene and then that's just it. Another thing that brought the film down for me was the humor. Most of the humor in this film wasn't very funny and was just the same recycled jokes that you hear in every MCU movie. Another big letdown of the movie for me was that Scott Lang did not die in the end by giving his life to stop Kang, like how the trailers implied. This would have been a perfect send-off for Scott, since he was a man who always wanted to protect his family at all costs, and the bit at the end where he is seemingly gonna give his life to stop Kang would have been the perfect opportunity to do it. But nah, screw a great character arc, he just survives after Deus Ex Wasp shows up and saves him, and Kang dies by getting sucked into a small portal caused by his time warp thingy. Overall, despite a lot of issues I had with some of the characters, the story, and issues with the humor, Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania is still a decent movie, and I do highly recommend you watch it if you're a big Marvel fan. It is certainly not the disaster like how Rotten Tomatoes is painting it out to be. I rate this film a 7 out of 10.